Well, the last series was a 3-0 sweep. The Coyotes were able to take down UCR in a nice little gavoot to control to end things off. CU Boulder, Crimson Gaming, looking to go ahead, maybe stray away from that 3-0 tradition just a bit. CU Boulder coming in with a better overall record, but Crimson Gaming have a lot to prove going into the next stage. It's a West Division A matchup here, Tiff. The biggest question mark, though, really is how strong is this Crimson Gaming squad going to be able to get going into that next stage. Right now, both of these teams pretty much locked into where they'll be going on to stage 2.
Yeah, you mentioned a really great point. They're kind of locked in, whereas we saw UCR Esports and the Coyotes, there was something to contend there for the UCR. With both of these teams here being locked in, it's kind of just like a battle, because these two teams could come across themselves in stage 2. So maybe at this point, it's like a kind of like a grudge, right? Like, it's like, hey, kick it off strong here in stage 1, show your dominance, assert it out. And I really want to see something really great from the Crimson Gaming. I was doing a lot of research on some of their players and kind of their team dynamics overall, and I would love to see something good here from them. I'm not going to be biased or anything, because CU Boulder is looking pretty great as well. You know, last year they had CU Gold and CU Black, and we've got some players from the CU Gold team. We've got some teams or some players from the CU Black team. They've kind of come together with an additional new player, which we'll get into later. And I'm just excited to see how this is going to end for them in the stage 1 as we get a nice look up of this head-to-head coming in. Crimson Gaming 4-5 right now for the series in stage 1, and 6-3 for CU Boulder. Let's chat about it right now, McCormiel.
Well, CU Boulder, as you mentioned beforehand, better overall record in terms of just the series that they've played in general, but you look a little bit further down the list, there's where the discrepancies start to come in. You see hardpoint overall 9-6 for CU. For Crimson Gaming, you have that 8-8 hardpoint record, so both teams pretty much akin to one another in terms of the first overall mode that we'll be seeing, but the search and destroy is kind of where my mind gravitates to immediately. 5-6 for Colorado Boulder. It's okay. It's nothing to write home about. It's definitely not special. For Crimson Gaming, a 5-4 record, you're sitting right around mediocre as well. So really, I feel like the search and destroy can be a toss-up. But overall, this series looks relatively even. That swing map and the control, obviously things can get a little bit mixy there. Tuscan and Gavutu, you can play that map completely different in two different series, even though they can be right back against one another. So I really don't necessarily know what to predict when it comes down to control all the time. Obviously, a record can tell you some things, but again, as I saw in the last series, you can kind of just throw predictions out the window when it comes to relative statistics, especially when control is still a relatively new game mode inside of the CCL. So, overall, that's where the lay of the land is. We'll take a look at Colorado Boulder's roster now here. And of course, we see some key components here on this team. More importantly, though, Stay Woke Andrew, Gate Peak, Trippy Sun, and Criteria. This is a 4-man roster that has some good components, has some keys from last season, but really is looking to kind of rekindle what they had in the previous seasons. But more importantly, moving forward, it's a team that sits kind of mid-pack right now.
Mid-pack indeed, but with Stay Woke, Andrew, Gate Peak, and Criteria returning from last year, they performed really strong. Gate Peak in general was on CU, I believe, CU Black, and then Andrew and Criteria were from CU Gold. So I really liked what CU Gold did last year. Unfortunately, it was nothing to write home about, but CU Black was a really dominant team. So with these teams working together in the addition of Trippy Sun, I'm excited to see what they can kind of do, because we know CU Black in the Cold War season was absolutely dominant. So it's like, hey, end stage 1 on a great foot, but let's go ahead and look over at the next team's roster and see what Crimson Gaming is all about. These players are out of Utah, so that's really cool. So this is like a nice little, you're right, West Division A. And as we go this out, J-Mac, Quinny, Justin Season, and Maddie. So, like we said, got some players returning from last year. Maddie's going to be returning from the 2021 season. He did really well last year, aside from the Search and Destroy. So I'm looking at the Search and Destroy as we move into the map series. But, I mean, pretty great roster. Formula, anything?
I mean, overall, you're looking at a team that composition-wise should at least yield you some good in a best-of-5 series. Overall, I think when it came down to at least them playing some of the games that they've had so far, it really does come down to the slaying. I think for this team, I've seen some of their VODs, and when I went back and I watched, it came down to a general lackadaisical play almost. And what I mean by that is there weren't a lot of really calculated team pushes. It didn't feel like they wanted to push the issue on a lot of the maps that they were playing. They just kind of sat back. They really didn't move around all that much. and I just hope that is something that they have tried to change, at least through the last couple of series, and of course going into stage 2. Again, this is kind of a series overall that really doesn't necessarily matter for both of these two teams, at least right now, because they, again, are basically locked into where they'll be for stage 2. But this is a great opportunity to work on some of the things that they might be struggling on against relatively good opponents, or opponents that have similar skills to both of these teams in comparison.
I love the point you made when you kind of harped on the fact, like, hey, you know, these teams, like, this isn't really anything that's going to affect them going into stage 2, but it's the opportunity. And I love that you're talking about the opportunities here, because every time you get a rep in and you get to play another team, this is a chance to practice what you've been doing in scrims. And as we look at this map overlay, we're going to kick it off with a nice Tuscan hardpoint for map 1, moving into that Berlin search and destroy. Tuscan on control. 4th map, if we get to see it, is going to be hardpoint on Berlin, with 5th rounding out that search and destroy on Tuscan. And anytime I see that we're not kicking off the map number 1 with the Bocage hardpoint, I'm like, all right, this is going to get spicy. And Tuscan is by far one of my favorite maps that we've got on the Vanguard season.
Well, as you see here, we got a full house of cards of Tuscan in Berlin. Back and forth will go throughout the entirety of this series. Again, that's if we have to go to map number 5. Either way, we start off with Tuscan for the hard point. Really, overall, again, as we mentioned, Boulder, Crimson Gaming, the biggest thing is how you capitalize on map number 1. Hard points have been relatively good for both of these teams across the board. Tiff, if you're going to win this series, at least from map number 1, a win would be great. But more importantly, for Colorado Boulder, what is the single most important thing that you feel like they have to win in this series to really be able to step up?
I'm going to go with the rotations. You want to win your rotations on hardpoint, but not only the rotations, you need to be able to have the hold percentage and to get and defend off that first break that's going to come in from Crimson Gaming. If you can do that and win that fight, I think it's going to solidify the hardpoint on Tuscan for you, because I feel as if you kind of saw it broken down, right? They were already a little bit stronger in control, but their search and destroy looked a little weak. So you need to start off on the respawns and make sure you're netting all of those wins, because you can win this by taking 2 hard points in a control. If you're weak on search and destroy, you only have to play it twice. That would take you to game 5, but you can still net the win 3-2. So if you're CU Boulder, start off with the win and hard point on Tuscan, and just make sure that you solidify and take that momentum throughout the series.
It'll be a fun one overall, at least from what I've seen between these two teams. In overall record, I feel like if you are Crimson Gaming, with how the swing map of map number 3 has typically gone for you thus far, I feel like it'd be very important to at least take, if not the hard point, the search and destroy. Overall, again, I think this series as a whole is a toss-up between these teams, simply due to the fact that neither really have been able to pull away from the rest of their division, either from the top and or the bottom. You never really know what you're going to get out of either of these rosters when they're playing, and that's the single scariest thing, I think, specifically for Colorado Boulder. You know, with some of the players last year at least having lots of time to shine, and more importantly, a resume that at least yielded tons of good from last season, it's definitely a step down from what they had. If you keep that up, it raises a lot of questions going into stage 2.
A lot of questions raised indeed, with CU Boulder looking to put something on the map, but Crimson coming out and finding a nice 2-piece to get right on that P1 moment, get set up and try to hold it. I'm just looking right now, who's going to win the first rotation? How are these rotations through the first hills going to look as Crimson coming out in full force?
3 in a row from Justin. You push up into the spawn side of Colorado Boulder. He's going to play back and around right now. 4 quick kills there for the side of Crimson Gaming. You look back to the middle of the map. Stay woke Andrew will be finally able to trade out Justin. Knocks him off 4 in a row. 2-1 trade there for Boulder. You break back in towards the point. You got player number 7 and J-Max still holding on strong over in towards the hill. You're just playing for 10 seconds of scrap time, at least right now, but the rotations to P2 also being won by Colorado Boulder. Great couple of kills, but more importantly, a really nice team push to set things up for P2.
A good team push indeed. It's very interesting as we see Crimson Gaming kind of take the top side of the map throughout the rotation. That leaves player 8. That's going to be Justin down on P2 all alone looking to go that. But who's got the spawns? That's going to be CU Boulder. They're spawning out to the right. But I love this flank that Maddie and J-Mac are doing right now as they are looking to get down towards P2.
So pretty. 4-1 trade. Colorado Boulder tried to hold on, but Crimson Gaming, a really nice break with about 15 seconds, is able to get them in towards the point. It was J-Mac who was on 5 in a row, wasn't able to get 6, so no streaks on the board right now if you are Crimson Gaming. trying to break back in this Colorado Boulder. Fortunately enough, though, Tiff, Crimson Gaming, they're actually going to spawn the side of Colorado Boulder in the back. Now they can rotate to P3 scot-free.
Yeah, this is actually really interesting and going completely the opposite direction of what I thought it was going to do. When I was looking at stats and how, CU Boulder was performing last year, they were really strong on their KDs for the hard points, but right now Crimson Gaming is just outslaying them. They were able to get the rotations and they're looking to secure those spawns. You've got JMac coming up through mid-map. You've also got Quinny looking to catch some of those mid-map rotations, and they're just holding it down. This could be a flawless hill. If you hold P3 right, this is how you solidify your dominance. It's almost a 100-point game, and we're just starting.
Crimson holding strong towards the front. Justin, nice little pop of the head on the criteria. You'll go ahead for 2. Quinny will add up for all 3. If you are Crimson Gaming right now, you got a 100-point lead here. If you were to go by overall records thus far, you'd be astonished that Colorado Boulder were in a position that they are right now here on Tuscan Hardpoint. Finally, you'll break in for some time. It's the first bit of hill time you've been able to touch since P2's initial pop. And if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what does.
I mean, I'm glad they were able to get the break here, but that's 15 seconds. That translates to scrap time, and you need to have a near performance, like a flawless hold here, because look at this. Crimson was able to, come back in and get the last 10 seconds of scrap time. Now you're looking at the rotation. You've got one from each. CU Boulder and Crimson, they're over in the church. We are just waiting to see, but CU Boulder making their name known over there. As Maddie's going to fall, they're able to hold. I'm looking at the break. I'm looking at Crimson coming and flying in now.
10 seconds ticked off. Here comes the break on in. Trying to make the pinch around. Quinny will find the first one. The few that they're going to need to be able to break on in. Peak will go ahead. Pop out the side door. Few kills come in. More importantly, though, it is going to be one last player alive here from the side of Colorado Boulder. Maddie will break through the front. I don't know why you pop back out into the middle of the map. You really want to be able to push with the rest of your team. It's basically a parallel spawn right now as you go toe for toe in back towards the point. Inside the church, though, your pinstripe kill feed will allow the side of Crimson Gaming at least to go ahead and contest for this time. Last 20 seconds going to go to the side of Colorado Boulder. It's going to be a foot race back on over towards the south side of the minimap. You'll take a look right now. Those yellow arrows are set up, at least preliminarily. You got the white arrows, though, trying to make that break on in. Should be a little bit of a barn fight down here in towards the south side of the map.
Barn fight indeed. They were able to get the nice little bit of scrap time right there, but it's going to be a bloodbath here in the command center. I love that they were holding for spawns, but you've got people like Justin, who's absolutely triple positive right now, just shy of it, was at one point now looking to make it happen. Contention coming into this final P5 as we look towards the next set of rotations. CU Boulder needs to have a near perfect hold right here going into the next set of rotations, because what once was a 100-point game is now no longer.
Justin, 2 in a row. Also 2 in a row for Peak. In the hill, Maddie finally will shut that player down. 136-75. Colorado Boulder, though, have got themselves back into this game bit by bit. However, the Utes now will once again regain control of a hard point. Out towards the front, criteria. Couple more players from Colorado Boulder making their push in towards the hill. Should be about a one-on-one here. If you hold down the last 15 seconds, it's not the end of the world. You're okay with playing for scrap time here. And the biggest problem is, though, for Colorado, is, yeah, you want to run that score up just a bit. But Crimson Gaming, who already have the lead, are looking to go ahead and capitalize on P1 yet again. You let them get about 40 seconds the last time around.
Well, you had Maddie and JMac, who took that early rotations up to P1 to kick off the second set of rotations, but they were cut down. So now, kind of overextending themselves, you're going to see Justin, but it's okay because he's going to win those gunfights. Can he win another one? As Crimson is moving on to that P1 right now, and a lot of the things happening now, they're overextending themselves, and that's going to allow CU Boulder to capitalize on that, but there's still no solidified rotation because they keep losing those mid-map battles, and it's not even allowing them to get near P1, where we saw Crimson Gaming so strong there.
You can get a couple of kills. The biggest problem is keeping the beast down, reawakening every single time. The Utes have once again found themselves back onto P1. 5 in a row for JMac yet again. Another big streak from the top slaying performance out of the side of Crimson Gaming. The Utes, you try to hold on. Once again, you finally find that streak. You get the 6 in a row, but it's only a strafing run for now. No glide bomb to speak of just yet. Again, if you are new to the CCL, and or, of course, you have been watching for a while, you'll notice that, of course, the streaks did change. I believe it was a couple days ago, basically last week, after the matches from the CCL week were over. Tiff, 6 kills now for the strafe run, 7 for the glide bomb.
It's kind of an interesting change. I actually kind of like it because 5 I felt like was so easy to get, right? You look at it, 5 was constantly being hit, and it was so prevalent in the search and destroy as Quinny is absolutely popping off and finding a nice 2-piece, but it's still a 100-point game here. We're looking into that second set of rotations down by Colin, but no one's able to actually jump onto that. And as I see it, Maddie and Justin make a play for it, while Colorado Boulder is looking to get down there, but there's only 30 seconds left. But as I say, only 30 seconds. If Crimson Gaming can hold the 30 seconds, this is going to put them in win contention on that next rotation. If they can hold down P3, which we've seen them do, hey, it's going to happen. But look at this. CU Boulder overtaking. Rotations coming in. Looking at mid-fight battles.
All the way across the map, the Utes have set up once again. Stay Woke Andrew going to be the first player pushed up from the Boulder side of things. Maddie in the back, almost an aggressive challenge gunfight that would have gone in the way of Boulder, whilst Crimson Gaming didn't once again hang on. You got the first 5 seconds of time looking for the last bit. You can win easily off of this hard point here. Colorado Boulder, they had an attempt to come back. Unfortunately, it stalled out back over towards about P3. Crimson Gaming were once again able to reclaim the lead. And of course, as they continue to run away with this game, it's just going to be a bit too late unless Colorado Boulder can make some sort of an amazing comeback. Couple of kills going to come through. Finally, a nice yellow kill feed will go ahead and stain the map for a bit of time. But the Utes are okay with this. They can just set up for the next rotation if they so please.
Yeah, they really can set up for the next rotation, but I want to commend CU Boulder right there for being able to retake that hill. They took it twice, right? There was a lot of contention inside it, but look at Crimson coming in trying to make it, but they're going to get cut down by peak mid-map. So what are you going to do at this point? They're looking to set up inside the church right now as CU Boulder is making their way over.
J-Mac at the top, all the way around the back. First hill going to pop. 60 seconds here. Colorado Boulder, discombobulated push. You got 2 players flying over towards the south side of the map. Quinny will take Stay Woke Andrew down. That's the last player that was close enough by for Colorado to really make anything happen. It's going to be a bit of a pinch play here. You got 2 players that are pushing from the south portion of the map, 2 through the very front of the doors. Maddie around the corner. You're going to be able to slide challenge for 1. You get the second one as well. Quinny, it's up to you. What can you do here in a 1 versus 2? You fall. 35 seconds left. Another good great break from Colorado Boulder. So, yeah, again, I said Crimson Gaming can set up on rotations, Tiff, but we know time and time again, you allow a team to get hot, and they could really start to make you pay for it.
Yeah, I think CU Boulder is really warming up here. They had spawns in their favor and were able to really enforce this church here, and it just was a lot of uncontested time where they're able to claw back. 15 seconds left here on this hill, and they're bringing it back into contention. This is a 40-point game, and they're clawing it down. So what you need to do right now, if you're CU Boulder, you already solidified a lot of great time on this hill, but you need to make that early rotation, which we see in Stay Woke Andrew and Peak, but will it happen? The early fight's coming in right now. Can they hold on?
Andrew had to play the life there, but at least you'd be happy knowing that the rest of the team was able to play their lives back over towards the point. Trippy, 3 big kills straight down. Quinny, Matt, and Justin will see you back on the respawn block. J-Mac will meet you there too. 205 to 224. This comeback is alive and well. I said beforehand, it was kind of a runaway game. Crimson Gaming, all of a sudden, they just look like they haven't been able to find themselves on the map. More and more kills going in the way of Trippy. You'll finally take him out in the virtue way of a stun grenade. But Tiff, Colorado Boulder was down by 100 points 2 different times inside of this game.
What is happening? If you're Crimson Gaming, you're actually falling apart right now during the second set of rotations. I know you've got the point right now, but you can't win here. You'll be just shy of a couple points as the final push comes in right now from CU Boulder. Can they get in there and get the scrap time, or are they going to rotate and look for that next set of rotations?
J-Mac, you're big. You get the trade there immediately after the fact. Last time, though, it was Crimson Gaming who had set themselves back over towards point number 1. This time, Colorado Boulder, they're going to be the team that reaps the rewards of not being there and sitting and soaking up the scrap time. 6 seconds is all the side of the Utes need. 1 good break could go ahead, find everything falling apart. 3-1 trade, though, Tiff. We got a game on our hands.
This is the least coordinated effort I've seen from Crimson. It's coming in right now. They need to have a perfect hold on this. Can they do it, McCormiel? It's coming in. It's hot right now. Hold it on, C Boulder.
Maddie, first challenge around the corner. Utes are back in. Just still trying everything that you possibly can. Little ticks like that, little tiny increments of seconds, but now with 15 seconds left, all of a sudden, Colorado Boulder are in a position where they can take the lead. They've got the map pushed all the way into the spawn side. Utes trying to make their way up. Trippy goes big, yet for another 2. Stay Woke Andrew is there. 2 more seconds. Oh my goodness. Colorado Boulder stunned the world. Down by 100 points 2 different times. That is a choke of matched proportions, Crimson Gaming. You got to be better disciplined than that.
Crimson Gaming, we're going to have to talk about that as we see some little bit out of Quinny right here. But You know, we see you taking some last kills, and I'm excited to break down the stats because I'm really interested in this. The fact that this was a 100-point game, McCormill, and now it just somehow CU Boulder during that second set of rotations just changed everything up. It's as if CU Boulder wasn't even trying on that first set of rotations. Look at it this way. You've got Trippy Sun 30-30, Peak with 31-23. It's not even like they outslayed Crimson Gaming. They just got the right kills and held on for dear life.
All right, Tiff, you're probably not going to be able to answer this one because I'm just as stunned. My one and only question for you is, how do you lose a game like that?
Look, I'm gonna say something real quick because this is one of the maps where I've seen statistically, right? We were chatting about this earlier. I had read something somewhere. It was talking about the fact that on Tuscan, you can hold a hill if you get in there. I think it was like a 70 or 75% statistic. If you can get the rotations, these hills, you can actually hold them 75% of the time. And during the first set of rotations, Crimson Gaming was doing exactly that. They were rotating early. They were holding it on. So what changed from the first set of rotations on the hills to the second rotation? Where did it go wrong? It was like midway through the game, CU Boulder just showed up. They were like, hi, I'm playing a CCL match right now. I know how to play this game. And then they just started little by little taking back all the points.
I don't even know if it was the fact of Colorado Boulder not being there or existent in the first half of the game. I think Crimson Gaming just said, hey, we're up by, over 100 and some points almost. This game is kind of, basically over. And it just seemed like, they were getting out, they were rotating. And at first it didn't seem like there was much urgency to be able to close out the game against Colorado. And then the game started getting closer, and then it got a little closer. And then the Utes said, oh, shoot. They're in the lead, and we're getting spawn trapped right now. And then everything went completely downhill. And I mean, it went downhill over by P5. Let's just completely be fair. When they were in towards that bottom of the map, that HQ, when Colorado broke that, when they was about 175 to about 225, something like that, they were down by about 50 points. Especially when Crimson Gaming decided they wanted to go play for the scrap time instead of rotating back over towards P1. That was the deciding factor, aside from all the slaying opportunities and different moments that they had to come back into the game. That was the biggest single-handed moment for me that said, Colorado Boulder is going to win this game. And once they rotated, there was no doubt in my mind, especially after they got those first 3 kills, then started to force the spawn trap.
Well, and I completely agree with you. I love that you bring up the rotation between P5 and then, back to P1 for that third set of rotations, because what I think you did there, you're right, Crimson doubled back and went for the scrap time. Meanwhile, CU Boulder was able to set up on P1, and you saw it in specifically the player Trippy Sun. He was able to navigate himself on the south side of the hill, right? And as you saw Crimson, they were kind of this uncoordinated push where not all of them were necessarily together. It was like 1, 2, and Trippy Sun was just sitting there picking them off one at a time, and it was just a downfall. It was the downfall of Crimson Gaming right then and there, and I was like, I am all for Trippy Sun MVP. Stay woke, Andrew. Trippy Sun just doing the absolute work to bring it back for CU Boulder.
In the wise words of a man named Attach, it's never chalked. Colorado Boulder. Well, they're going to go ahead and write that into existence. As I mean, that's just a fun game right there. It's those moments that make you kind of reignite your passion for Call of Duty in a sense. I know a lot of people this year have been neither here nor there sometimes, but when you see 100-point comeback like that, it's very hard not to be enthralled, not only all the way through the rest of the series, but just watching things as they start to go forward throughout the rest of not only the CCL season, but Vanguard as a whole. It's moments like those that we love in Call of Duty, and I think that's a very big moment that is going to highlight not only this Colorado Boulder season, but for Crimson Gaming, you got a lot to learn when it comes to composure. That is blatantly obvious in the search and destroy. You hope to right those wrongs and maybe not take a 5-1 lead because, well, nothing's really safe in your hands at this point. And that's going to leave a bad taste in my mouth for quite some time. The Utes, you gotta show me something here in the search and destroy, please. I need you to wash that taste out of my mouth right now.
It's never chalked. You got a player on CU Boulder named Stay Woke Andrew. I love it. Stay woke. They definitely woke up mid-map right there. So I'm curious to see how this one's going to kick off right now. We've got the bomb rotating up towards B right now with Crimson Gaming on the offensive. They're kind of hanging out mid-map, and I love the split from CU Boulder. You have 2 players on top, 2 players on the bottom line. And we're just kind of waiting in a nice stalemate looking for some first blood, but here we go. The sniper is coming out from Peak, and that makes me happy, McCormill.
J-Mac in the back. Automaton going to be able to find the first blood. Love the play from Colorado Boulder. They didn't see anything over towards B. But unfortunately, the two players that were waiting at the A site to try and make a counteraction play to the offensive push now fall at the exact same juncture. 45 seconds left. Bomb will go down.
Bomb down on A as Crimson Gaming is going to start setting up a fortitude for defense right here as Peak is going to go ahead and pick off Maddie. The trade's coming in, but can you do in this situation? You've got one player left on CU Boulder.
Didn't spot the player out. Toss back in and around behind. Quinny just playing around. Waiting for another aggressive challenge. 25 seconds left. I mean, really, at this point, you're just playing your corners. You're waiting for them to push on through. This is a great post-play and setup and a great round win for the Colorado Boulder roster.
Yeah, they set up really beautifully here as Staywoke finds one. Quinny gonna trade him out really quick. Crimson Gaming is gonna go ahead and take the dub here early on. But this is exactly what we saw in the hard point, right? They came out aggressive, started off strong, up 100 points, and then what did we see? We saw CU Boulder come clawing back. But you know what? That's just to get the bomb down, set up that defensive fortitude site, and I think you're going to be just fine. If you're going to only net attacking wins, you got to start winning your defenses too, or else it's just going to be a monumental back and forth landside where essentially Crimson would net the win because they would go back on the attacking in the last round. So curious to see how this is going to go with CU Boulder on the attack right now. Bomb looking very similar to what we just saw Crimson do. It's hanging out that mid map, and look at the split right now. You've got two players on the defensive and the shots are coming in. No first blood yet.
Andrew just absolutely played Justin like a fiddle. However, Justin is going to be able to find that first blood criteria. Trades immediately after the fact. Bomb in the hands of the CU Boulder roster. Actually, Quinny was all the way back in towards the spawn side. Peak didn't realize that. Only has the pistol to work with. Really, your entire round right there was set up upon being able to get that bomb down, having the sniper for the retake. Now things are just thrown for a loop.
Thrown for a loop, indeed, as Quinny finds yet another kill. Quinny is doing absolute work right here, but the team kill! J-Mac! We gotta have a talk about that, buddy!
Unfortunate timing. 1 versus 2. Bomb still down over towards that B site. 30 seconds left. You know, one player was watching through the middle of the map. Maddie, playing out towards the window. Thought maybe you might be able to get around the corner for a little bit of a challenge. Tries to get back to the site. You're going to know that a B-bomb is down. Trippy, one-on-one gunfight against Maddie. Okay, this turns into a little bit of a different story. J-Mac comes out of the library. Around the left side corner. Trippy actually spots out J-Mac. Going to be able to clutch it up and find the kill. What a way to clutch a 1 versus 3. I mean, Tiff's pissed off because there was a team kill in there. But nonetheless, a 1 versus 3.
It went downhill from there. That team kill just ended this round for Crimson Gaming. If they hadn't done that, they would have had one more player available, but Trippy's son was just out there getting absolutely trippy. We saw the player come out of the library with his nose in books, and it just wasn't going to be enough. Trippy said, nah, man, like, I'm here for this. I'm going to take it right now. And now it's 1-1 here on the Search and Destroy. Crimson back on the offensive. I'm curious to see how these players are going to split, and we see it right now. CU Boulder, 2 towards A, 2 towards B, bomb going up on B.
Relatively no contestation either. We know Peak has the snipers, love to play with it. Quinny, who is on 4 in a row, will go net for number 5. Maddie with another trade around the corner, too. 4 versus 2. Bomb is down. Great situation here. J-Mac spots out criteria. The last one's going to be there as well. Trippy. I mean, maybe. Maybe you clutch a 1 versus 4 this time, but with 30 seconds left, it's looking grim.
Honestly, if you're Trippy, play your life. You've got 3, net yourself. You know you're good, but I mean, honestly, if you're feeling really confident after that 1v3, you might try to make something happen here, but it's just not gonna happen. Maddie cuts you down right there. You're gonna lose any chance at streaks that you had right there. Crimson makes it a 2-1 here in the Search and Destroy.
He's lucky that wasn't Quinny who was sitting on that corner either, because again, Quinny on 5 in a row. 1 more kill would have had the glide bomb there. Actually, I lied. So I was reading that as if there could be potential streaks on the board. However, the team kill came in. I don't believe that allows you to earn streaks after the fact. Unless I'm completely wrong, it's just I don't think that's actually going to net any sort of streaks to be used later on.
Interesting. I'm actually not sure on that as well. But we've got CU Boulder on the offensive right now. Stay woke, Andrew, trying to stay woke with the bomb in hand, going down towards A. They're not going to diddle down in the mid map. They're going in, but look who's there to answer. It's going to be Crimson.
Andrew, first blood. J-Mac will fall. Immediately, the bomb will go down, but here comes Quinny on a flank. You're going to be able to spot the one. They line up perfectly for you. You pre-aim back around that left side. Criteria, oh, why don't you go ahead and try your hand? Quinny, he hasn't missed one bullet yet. Tried to go for the kill. Finally, we'll get the trade at the same time. 7 in a row for Quinny, 3 in a row for Matt. It's Peak left in a 1 versus 3. This time, it won't be another miracle for Colorado Boulder. On the backhand of Quinny finding 2 quick kills, Crimson Gaming will find their 3rd round here in the Search and Destroy, up 3-1 on a team that took map 1 off them.
Quinny looking absolutely dominating right there with a nice 8-0 in Search and Destroy so far. At least that's what it said right down there at the bottom. So I'm believing it. Search and Destroy is Quinny's thing right now. That streak of 8. And you're right. I didn't see if he was able to net the streak. So I'm curious. I'd love to see it from his POV. You're right. I don't see anything. So let's see here. It's about to get really interesting. If Crimson wins this right now and puts it 4-1, CU Boulder, can you pull something like you did in the hard point and bring back that reverse sweep to net the win here in Search and Destroy? Quinny on the hunt right now as bombs down towards A.
J-Mac, Quinny there for 2 kills yet again. Criteria will slide on in. Guess what? It's Quinny who's at 10-0. I mean, despite a team kill, that they could be at 4-0 right now, and Quinny is having the game of his life. He's looking like TJ Halley's reincarnation.
Quinny was able to get a strafing run right there with that down. Bomb is down on A. It's a 2v1 situation. Peak, what are you going to do here? Are you got to kind of answer back? Don't let this go to a 4-1.
Oh, no.
Okay.
1v1. I mean, there's nobody else I'd rather have in this situation than Quinny. But his Peak is going to have the head glitch. He's going to be able to go ahead and find yet another 1v3 for Colorado Boulder. Learn how to push as a team. Please, please, push as a team.
You heard it here, guys. Crimson, please push as a team as some nice shots go down for that aftermath. They're basically just saying, look what I just did to you. I just did that. Push as a team, and you won't have that happen. Hey, at least it wasn't a little bit of, teabagging. I do like a little bit of wholesome toxicity, let me tell you. But you know what? That was a really critical round for CU Boulder to win. Because now they're sitting with 3-2, and that sounds a lot better than a 4-1 because that would have been a must-win situation. So now CU Boulder has a little bit of breathing room, but stay woke, Andrew, grabbing that. But look at this car 98. I love watching the mid-map here with that. That is beautiful. You can see 2 players down towards A. You've got the information. Bomb goes to B. We're looking to put it down quick and fast. No first bloods just yet, but stay woke, Andrew. Just chilling inside B house. I'm surprised he hasn't started planting yet. Wait, why are you overextending, buddy? Where are you going?
They knew that the streak came in, and if you're inside the B building, it doesn't matter. You're just trying to get as far away as humanly possible. However, you fall directly into the hands of Maddie. That puts the bomb down over on the dock side. Trippy, you're going to be able to spot out Maddie. Some nice shots there, peppers them up, but unfortunately doesn't walk away with the kill. So now it's still a 2 versus 4. However, despite some of the last rounds we've seen, I'm not too confident in Crimson Gaming to be able to close this round out.
I mean, Trippy finds a kill right there as soon as you say you're not too confident. But here's what I'm going to talk about. I understand that the bombing run was coming in that strafing run, right? But why did you overextend yourself to, due north? You should not have pushed into Crimson Gaming side because I just feel like that wasn't smart. You should have backed up and maybe went to that warehouse for safety unless there just wasn't enough time. I get it. But Trippy going for the bomb right now. Peak flanking Quinny. Let's go. That was a monumental kill. Peak 5 streak looking for some streaks of their own.
You put the sniper away. Maddie's in the top fire building. Oh, they're right next to each other, and they don't even realize it. Peak can push up the map on 5 in a row. This kill would be for Streaks. You're behind Maddie. You're going to be able to get it. Guess what? I said it beforehand. I'm not confident they can win the round. Please, just clutch one.
Just clutch one. McCormick, my soul is just hurting for you right now, bro. It's just hurting a smidge. Let me tell you that much. We are sitting here 4-2. Wait, did they clutch the? How'd they do that? I thought CU Boulder netted that, but I mean,
wait a second. Hold on. I think maybe it came down to the time at the end there.
It must have been the time. Wow, you got really lucky there, Crimson. But please push as a team.
First blood to Criteria. These clutches just need to stop. Oh, if you would have got that kill with a sniper, I'm leaving my setup. I don't care. 4-2 still, though, in terms of round count. 3 kills to Crimson Gaming right now in the round. 1 life remaining. Criteria here in a clutch situation for Colorado Boulder. We've had 1 from Peak. We've had 1 from Trippy. Be a great time for Criteria to try his hand at a 1 versus 3. Bomb going to go down here. You're going to realize that the players are inside of the site. You can go ahead and maybe line up 2 in a row. Good news, though, is you're watching the doorway. You're going to be able to find it. And there it is. So 5-2 now, Crimson Gaming. Match point, trying to tie the series up 1 apiece.
I don't mean to be rude here, but criteria, buddy, can we chat about that? Because I feel like when you peeked that corner, you didn't check the closest side to you. It's like you had immediately looked towards bomb, right? So you completely ignored the person that was standing there, and the reaction time just wasn't it, because that person that was waiting for you to come in and check the bomb had all the time in the world. As soon as you showed a shoulder, that person was firing, and it was just kind of done for criteria. Unfortunately, you were not able to clutch that. This is a must-win situation. Bomb is down, going towards A, but there are 3 members of Crimson Gaming here as the first blood comes in.
Traded immediately, though. 20 seconds off the clock around the corner. Yet another good set of kills. Colorado Boulder finally will go ahead and have themselves up in a situation. Oh no, Quinny. Oh, Peak, you gotta be able to win that. Now it's a 1 versus 3 from Quinny. He's done it all here for the side of Crimson Gaming thus far. However, they clutch up in a 1 versus 1, so it got scary there. Quinny almost just capitalized an incredible game with a 1 versus 3 to tie the series up at 1 apiece. But we'll have to talk about a storyline where that happens in a different universe. Match point still for Crimson Gaming, but Colorado Boulder climbing back ever so slightly. It was up 5-2. 5-3 now as we go. They're going to have to win not only the defense here, but of course win 2 more rounds after the fact. Crimson Gaming all being led by one man himself named Quinny at 14-4.
That's so demon mode right there. Quinny is just like absolutely built different. First blood comes in. That's going to be on Peak. Andrew already falling. Quinny is just a demon out there.
Kills everywhere. Maddie will find another. Criteria 1 versus 4. You'd love to just give this to Quinny here, because if you do, that's quadruple positive on the map, so that'd be great. Well, Quinny gets the kill, so write the narrative off. 16-4 in the S&D. We said these games would be a toss-up. We didn't expect Colorado Boulder to win map number 1. Certainly here in the Search and Destroy, though, Crimson Gaming proved that they were the better S&D roster. We go to a map number 3 now with a tied series. We're guaranteed to see at least map number 4, which, of course, will be a Berlin.
Look, I just want to look at these stats. This Search and Destroy was absolutely insane. And if you are named Quinny right now, you are feeling really good, let me tell you, because you're right. That triple positive, that's 16-4. You have 11 non-traded kills and 5 first bloods. I just feel like Quinny just came out, asserted dominance, and there was really nothing that CU Boulder was able to do, because in any situation, Quinny was able to just absolutely pop off, averaging almost 2 kills per round, just doing the absolute most, 190 damage per round. McCormick, how do you combat that? Like, you can't.
I mean, again, it's just one of those things to where you start the game out so hot for Crimson Gaming. Colorado Boulder, you did your damnedest to come back inside of that game. There were multiple moments where, the tides had completely turned around. If it wasn't for the time expiring at the end of the 1 round where Peak was able to find 3 kills, I mean, you could have been looking at a completely different storyline. But when you go 4-2, it's a lot harder to come back from at that point, especially in terms of the mental overall. So there's really not much else to point out from this game except from a 16-4 performance from Quinny. Absolutely stunning. 5 first bloods instead of the game as well. There's really nothing else to say except GG's go again. Crimson Gaming now tied up the series 1-1. We go to a Tuscan control. Not Gavutu from our last series, but either way, Tiff, the most important thing overall, more than anything else, is Colorado Boulder are technically, at least right now, the better team when it comes to control in statistical record. Crimson Gaming, though, at least at the hard point at the very beginning, they seem to be the better respawn team. So how do you combat that? What is the general feeling overall, at least in your mind, for this Crimson Gaming roster?
For the Crimson Gaming roster, we saw Quinny absolutely slay out, right? And that's kind of what's going to come down to control, right? Because we talk about the B portion of Tuscan. It's incredibly difficult to get over there, because by the time you cap A, which is usually very easy to do, you're looking at the amount of time and lives to be able to cap B, because the defensive side is going to spawn so close so that they have constant reinforcements. So I'm looking at Quinny. If you're Crimson Gaming, I'm looking at Quinny. I know you popped off in Search and Destroy, and that may be your strong suit, and maybe statistically you guys aren't as good on control, but pop off. You clearly have the gunny. Win those fights, take their lives down, and just net your win, and you're coming back to a hard point, which I believe it's going to go back to, it's going to be a Berlin hard point. That's going to be fantastic.
Well, we'll have to see what happens next. Again, as I said beforehand, Tuscan control coming up after a short break. When we return, the finishing touches on this series. We'll see if this goes any further than 4 maps. Either way, my name's McCormick. With me is Tiff, Colorado Boulder, Crimson Gaming, tied at 1 apiece. Well, we finally have a series on our hands. Map number 1 was relatively close at the end. It didn't seem like it was going to be that way for the large majority of our Tuscan hardpoint. Berlin Search and Destroy, the Utes, well, they came out swinging all the way from the very beginning. They didn't really let off the gas down to the very end. And of course, now we go back to Tuscan where we were for map number 1 for our control overall in the series. We're still tied at 1 apiece. We're guaranteed to see map 4, which will be Berlin. Tiff, relative thoughts, at least conceded at least a bit from maps number 1 and 2 before we start really talking and hammering on the control.
Yeah, maps number 1 and 2 have been wildly different. Map number 1, that first hard point, kind of just showed out to be completely not what I thought it was going to do, with Crimson Gaming coming out very, very strong and very aggressive on that first set of rotations. I honestly didn't think CU Boulder had a chance, and when they started out, Crimson Gaming on that Search and Destroy map 2 coming out strong, I was like, all right, here we go again. Can Crimson Gaming, start off strong and finish strong as well? But then we saw CU Boulder midway through that Search and Destroy start to try to put a couple rounds together that were relatively good, but unfortunately they just weren't going to be able to maintain that momentum, with Crimson Gaming netting the win in the Search and Destroy. So if Crimson Gaming is feeling really confident after that Search and Destroy, which they should, especially Quinny, going into this Tuscan control, can you keep your gunny straight, aim it, and net it? You can win it. All you gotta do is just annihilate the other team, right?
I mean, in a sense, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think for Colorado Boulder, I think at least in map 1, I saw glimpses of a very, very, very well-oiled machine. It didn't really stick around all that long, at least when we got into the Search and Destroy. Again, this is a roster that we highlighted as a team that has the ability to make pop-off plays as individuals. How they play as a uniform roster, they have some kinks in the system that need to be worked out, need to be at least fixed up as we get into the rest of this series. And again, if you are just joining us, this isn't necessarily a match that's going to go crazy for potential implications as we move forward into stage 2. This is the last match that both of these teams have before going into stage 2. This is more or less just going to overall kind of just sit them where they are, allow them to get some practice on some of these modes. For Crimson Gaming in Colorado Boulder alike, that hard point definitely showed some flaws, but also some nice little touches that they have here and there. So going into this Tuscan, it's the same kind of thing. What have you kind of struggled in your controls beforehand? What can you bring into this next game number 3? And how are you going to be able to not only find yourself in an influential way around the map, but of course have yourself a nice little cherry on top, take a 2-1 lead? Because again, it doesn't matter for the series, but you would still love to be able to take another win under your belt going into the next stage, because it's still going to help overall for your map count from stage 1 and for stage 2, because again, it all matters for playoffs.
It all matters for playoffs indeed. And if you are Crimson Gaming, you are looking to kind of improve on that respawn mode, right? We're into control. We want to make sure that we start off strong here, but also maintain the momentum. As we know on Tuscan Control, it can be really difficult when you go to cap that B site, because if you're the defending team, you are going to be able to provide those reinforcements a lot quicker. But here's the deal. You're coming up gunners like Quinny. Looked really good in Search and Destroy, but can they maintain that momentum and put it towards that respawn mode? And honestly, if you can win a 1v1, you can win a 1v1 all of this. But I love that you brought up the fact when you were talking about like that well-oiled machine, you need that team communication, especially in those respawn modes. And we need to see that here in this control here on Tuscan. And I'm looking for coordinated team pushes. Maybe someone like we saw in our prior match who's going to rotate around and flank from behind, because that was really exciting. Will we see that here? There's like a really nice solid 3 avenues on Tuscan of attacks, right? And when you go down to that B site, you can come in from a solid 3 different places. You can come down from church, you can rotate through the defender spawn, or you can come down from the command center. So I'm looking at B specifically here.
Map number 3 between these two teams, looking to be one for the ages. Tied up 1 apiece in the series. We look to go ahead and not only find ourselves with a unanimous leader inside of the map count, but overall it is going to, at least for one team, spell what it's going to take for them to win controls further on the season. What I mean by that is, for Colorado Boulder, they've played decent teams. They haven't played great teams when it comes to control. They've struggled inside of the mode a small amount, but it's still struggles that they can get out of their system. For Crimson Gaming, it's kind of the opposite. They've had glimpses of hope. They've had the relative struggles across the board, and we would love to see them not only take on an opponent that they feel like they should be able to beat, but again, overall, technically, Colorado Boulder has that better map record. Crimson Gaming doesn't. It's just that simple. So when you go up against a team that has a better record, you want to be able to beat them. You want to say, hey, you might have beat some worse teams. We're still going to be better than you going into the next stage. And again, that's still going to bode well for the next stage record, because both of these two teams most likely will be inside of the same division come the next portion into stage 2. And again, it's going to be another round of round robins. And since they've already played one another, that record is going to withstand the test of time into that next portion, which is going to be big.
Hey, big indeed. And while we're waiting for the lobby to get set back up, let's just kind of chat about a couple things that I have noticed. In that first respawn mode, we saw J-Mac and Justin on that Crimson Gaming absolutely fragging out in the hard point. So I'm curious. I'm looking at them to be specifically gun heavy there, but Quinny is well looking very strong. So I want them to have some coordinated efforts specifically between those three and Maddie to stay consistent. If you're going to be CU Boulder, y'all did really good last year in the Cold War season on your controls. Most of y'all averaging a 1.4 KD, so that's looking very strong. The issue is you've got 2 members from CU Gold, 1 member from CU Black, and then a new player on the rise. So when you mentioned that well-oiled machine early on, it's kind of like we're at week 6 now, and you scrim, but with Control being a relatively new mode, it's like, can you have that well-oiled machine? And if all else fails at that point, just stay close on your pushes and pretend it's team deathmatch. I mean, at that point, just outslay them.
I really thought you were going to say, it just comes down to them, or it just comes down to it being a completely different game. Not them coming back from last year and not really having that composure. It's just a completely different game. And Control plays different inside of Vanguard than it does in Cold War by quite a ton. One, it comes down to the faster TTK. Number 2, it comes down to only having 2 control maps overall. So, you don't really get too much of a pick of the litter here. It's just kind of, you sprinkle one in, you veto one, you play the other. And if you're not strong on really either of the 2 maps, you're just kind of SOL more than anything else. So it is what it is. But Control, more than anything else, is kind of that third game mode. I think it bounced around. It was in the game, not in the game, in the game. I think we're going to see it for the foreseeable future. And there are some really good moments that can come from Control. I think the mode overall plays well. I just don't know if it fits the best with a very fast TTK game, like Vanguard specifically. And that's just something we'll have to kind of improve on over the next couple of years of Call of Duty. We'll see where things go from here on out. Either way, we finally have our lobby back up. We're loading in now. Colorado Boulder on the left side for the side of Crimson. It's just one of those things where you feel like you have to take this map at least to give yourselves a one-up, not only in the series, obviously, but more importantly, to fix things inside of your control. This is not a great sight off the rip, though. Crimson Gaming sent everybody over towards A. Colorado Boulder, they're going to throw the house and the kitchen sink all the way over towards the B site.
Hey, yo, CU Boulder. I love the aggression towards B. This is completely not what I normally see, and first tick is down. What are you going to do if you're Crimson Gaming? You are scattering over towards the B zone right now, looking for something to happen. 2 ticks down.
Well, not exactly what I expected to start the game off. The entirety of the B point already secured. Usually, if you have a team that full 4 pushes over towards the B site, maybe you get 1 or 2 ticks, and then the team's able to break on back in. That is completely different now. All you got to do is get back over towards the A site, start running up the score, and that's exactly what you've done so far. You got a player pushing through the middle of the map. Quinny will be able to find 2 in a row. You pop back out into the middle of the map. Trippy almost falls there, but as a contestant goes down on the actual site itself, the first bit of progress looking to be completed. Justin will finally find that last player. We can breathe for just a moment as Colorado Boulder will once again be coming off the spawn.
Yeah, that was really incredibly fast as Criteria finds a nice little 2-piece right there. Time going down, ticking on that A site with a lot of uncontested moments right now. Crimson Gaming is going to have to really solidify their teamwork right here. A great kill by Maddie there mid-map as the contention comes in.
Peek around the corner for 3 in a row. Stay woke Andrew going to be there. Still contesting the point. J-Mac not pushing up just yet. 3 arrows to 2. Now the last one here is going to be J-Mac for the time being. We'll find the first kill there on a Trippy. Andrew will peek around the corner. You got Maddie who finds Criteria. Now it's a 2 versus 2 back on the point, and the reinforcements here on the defensive side. Interesting to say the least. Usually it's the team that can't go ahead and capture the B zone after they find A. Right now, Colorado Boulder is having a struggle over on the A site in itself. However, they still have yet to find Maddie, who is just flying around in towards the point. Finally, they'll take down everybody else. The second tick of progress about to come in. Quinny just going to try and play for the contest around that left side.
Look, I learn something new every day, and CU Boulder has completely flipped everything on my head for Tuscan Control. 10-8 left on the lives. They have 2 minutes left, or a minute 40 left on the clock. They only need approximately 1.5 ticks on A, but J-Mac and Maddie are just holding down the defensive line. You can actually get to the point where you almost spawn trap them, but we're waiting for some reinforcements. My Waddy is the less than live. But you know what? Here's the deal. Where is CU Boulder? Coordinate that push. Be that well-oiled machine.
Uh-oh. Trippy traded 6-5. Peek in the corner. Will get slid on by Justin. Everybody playing the back in their spawn. We don't typically see the A site being the last bastion of hope for a roster on the offensive side, but I guess we're in for a treat with this series as a whole. Colorado Boulder, no respawns remaining. All the way back in their spawn. Now it's a 2 versus 5. Trippy around the corner will be able to find the first. You're looking for a trade to come on through from Quinny, and it'll do just that. Peek had a miracle play inside of the search and destroy. Here inside of a control, it'd be a lot harder to go ahead and pull off. J-Mac, though, going to be the first one up. If you're Crimson Gaming, all you need to do is do what you didn't do in the S&D. Push as a team to find this last player. Don't allow to feed lives. 40 seconds left. Tons of time here. You don't have to worry about pushing yourself over towards the zone. You'll peek in towards the middle of the map. You'll actually see Justin from around the corner. Now everybody just needs to push together at the same time. And what was looking like a great round for Colorado Boulder, after they got the B site within the first basically 10 seconds of the game, Crimson Gaming, they wait out 2 minutes of time, get the final bits of kills, they win the defensive round here.
I'm really confused, McCormill, because this was the weirdest attacking round that I've seen on Tuscan Control in a very long time, and I'm sitting here just staring at it and trying to like make it make sense, right? But that was so different. And even the fact that where Peak was trying to stay the last alive and take the final 3, but Crimson Gaming, why were they not aggressive? Justin saw him. He didn't even make the call out, and the other 2 teammates decided not to move. I mean, granted, they didn't need to. We eventually saw the player go in, but look at this. You know, Crimson Gaming on the attacking, they're going for A site straight away, and CU Boulder just got completely overwhelmed. First tick done, the progress at A. I mean, this is looking like what I'm used to.
An impeccable opening break from Crimson Gaming. 7 kills immediately. The Utes have the A zone, and now you can work your way over towards B. Inside the church, next one up. Trippy, Andrew, finally getting on the board here in the round, but it's still a 5 live disparity. Tons of time left here from Crimson Gaming. Biggest problem is, of course, you got to get back over towards B. You saw how hard it was even to get to A on the offensive side for CU. And now for the Utes, you got to get all the way back across while Stay Woke Andrew is trying to play up in towards pushing the spawns. Fortunately enough, though, you clear him out. You start making your way back up the map. 20 there for 1, 24-19 with a minute 50 left.
Love that Quinny and J-Mac are kind of just riding this out together. We're going to lose J-Mac, but it's fine. But CU Boulder doing absolutely everything that they can, but you got the reinforcements coming. Then you see we got J-Mac and Justin going for the mid-map rotation, but can they win those mid-map fights? CU Boulder holding on for dear life, currently at the life disadvantage with 16 lives left, a minute 30 left to defend onto this hold. 2 Crimson Gaming players are making their way down, but will fall. You see the kill feed going yellow. There's just, I think Crimson needs to kind of partner up here and wait.
Justin to the staircase. Peek with a head glitch. We'll take down Justin. A 3-1 trade here for Colorado Boulder. 1 life disadvantage. Minute and 10 left on the clock. Crimson Gaming trying to push up the map, but it's a stained yellow kill feed now. The Buffaloes, as they go ahead and hold back. Defensive, slow as ever. But it's Quinny and the boys trying to go ahead, rally the troops up in through the bottom of the HQ and out towards the hill. You're tied at 15. Colorado Boulder, for the first time here in the round, will finally have themselves with a life advantage back in their favor.
Yeah, Colorado Boulder's doing something really nice right there. They're letting Stay Woke Andrew kind of float around the upper area of the map and find some nice mid-map kills while the Fortress is handling down over by B. I think Crimson Gaming needs to gear up, push together, and not even 2 at a time because they are just getting eaten alive. As you see, 3 of the CU Boulder players have pushed back towards the spawn trap them.
Look, this is where things get hairy, because if you're Quinny, sure, you win that gunfight one-on-one up close, but you're not able to get across the map just yet. You have Peak, who you have to get through now, but the spawns are still going to be so close for Colorado Boulder that you're going to be able to contest this initial push back over towards this point. With only 15 seconds left, still down by 2 lives, you've got to contest this hill now. J-Mac from the top. Trippy will find Justin. It's a 1-1 trade. Out from the church, though, it is going to be J-Mac who peppers up 1. 3 quick kills, though, once again from Colorado Boulder, are going to basically set this round in stone. We go defense from defense for the first 2 rounds here inside of our Tuscan Control. Map 3, just as close as maps 1 and 2.
Oh my gosh, if you are JMac, you were able to get there just in time, but you had 1 second to spare. So as soon as you fall, time is going to run out and CU Boulder is going to net that victory. You know, what started out as a very typical Tuscan control right there, it just, they netted that A zone very quickly, but they just couldn't make B happen, which is exactly what we're used to, where we saw Crimson kind of just be like, you know what, we're going B. And it just didn't work out for them. Or I'm sorry, I believe, yeah, no, it was Crimson. Crimson couldn't make B happen, but regardless, I'm just like so shell-shocked. We're sitting here 1-1. It's first to 3. We're tied up. Where is this gonna go? CU Boulder on the offensive.
Setnade's gonna find their way through. Trippy will find the first blood in the round. Last time for Colorado, it was a strict 4-man hit over towards that B site. Crimson Gaming, not wanting to get caught off guard, sent a couple players over towards that site initially here in the round. That allowed Colorado to not only find themselves a bit of time over towards A, but really start drawing that progress up. You see Justin, who's trying to make a flank all the way back around through the spawn side. Pete gonna be there. JMac, fortunately with the rest of the team, is gonna be able to stay alive. And as Justin will find their way back into the middle of the map, that basically allows all the presence in the spawn, at least, from Crimson Gaming to disappear. However, at the same time, they let Trippy slide all the way through over towards B. Luckily enough for them, they don't get the tick over on that progress.
Yeah, I really thought Trippy was going to get that first tick there, but, you know, Crimson was able to make that position really quick and move down and go ahead and pick him off right there, and now they're just pushing up to hold mid-map. You've got 3 players holding 3 separate lines, but CU Boulder is going to push as a team toward that A site. Can they hold them off? Kind of stagnant right now. I feel like they're just kind of deciding which way they want to go as player 2 kind of peeks out right now. Can you win your 1v1s?
Didn't know where the players were. They were trying to play for information around the corners. Just the bait and switches don't come through. So 7 live disparity. Crimson Gaming once again have the lead here on defense. A defense going big. I thought maybe, just maybe, Quinny flies around the corner and rekindles his fire from the search and destroy with another double. But fortunately enough for Crimson Gaming, they stay alive. A 10 life advantage, 30 seconds left. More and more, this is looking like a Crimson Gaming Utes round win. Maddie refuses to die, finally will. They do a little tango in the back of the spawn. Peak will find the kill. Staywoke Andrew works their way over towards that B site. Still, just so many lives to the side of Crimson Gaming. It seems almost futile at this point. Still possible. Very, very improbable.
Yeah, you really need to net this B zone right now and at least get some time on the board. But you know what? Last alive, Staywoke Andrew is going to keep the lives going. Looking for that last tick over here at B. You have 10 lives remaining, which is not where you want to be as you finally fall right there. Rest of your team going up towards A, and now the battle comes in. 8 lives remaining.
20 seconds to go. You still got to work over towards that A and the B site in tandem. You get those first 2 kills. You're looking for JMac, who's the last one alive. So that, at least, is a big set of kills for Colorado Boulder. Maddie gonna be there to stop things, at least for the time being. 6-14. I mean, Tiff, you got to get all the way up the map. You got to get over towards the B site for an entire tick of progress with 5 lives remaining. It just seems so difficult to do, almost impossible.
It has to be perfect. And look at what Crimson Gaming is doing right now. They are just setting up a monumental fortitude right there in the mid-map area, but you have to be perfect. You're right. 49 seconds, 5 lives remaining. You cannot miss your shots. You have to be accurate. You have to find that early contention. And it's just not, I mean, 3 left. How do you do this?
Well, a simple answer is you don't. 35 seconds. Crimson Gaming, all they got to do is they just got to sit back, let the players of Colorado Boulder come to them. They should be looking at a 2-1 advantage here. Trippy will fall. Maddie will as well. Last player to do so for Colorado Boulder, all the way over off screen towards the church. So as Crimson Gaming will handshake with Colorado Boulder, we'll go defense for defense for defense here in the first 3 rounds. It's really not surprising to anybody at this point. Really, the better question is, who is going to be able to win an offensive round, if at all? And is that going to come before we see a 2-2 game going into a round 5?
Yeah, this is really tough right now. Honestly, Crimson Gaming just needs to go absolutely all out right now. If you are Quinny, if you are JMac, if you are Justin, just step it up right now and put it to bed. Take this victory. Make that series the 2-1. I'm speaking in a perfect world here, but that's just what I want to see happen right now. I usually shoot for the underdogs, but the contention is going in. But over at B!
That's how you pop open around right there, especially if you're on offense pushing over towards that B site. Justin playing up on top towards that little plateau, overlooking everything. Off-screen engagement, going to go towards the white side of Crimson Gaming yet again. Now you can start pushing in towards the backside of spawn. 2 ticks of progress, or at least working towards that second tick of progress over towards A. Right now, if you're the side of Colorado Boulder, you're just trying to keep them off of that B zone. And the Utes have done a great job of not only scattering the defensive side around the map, but being able to work themselves perfectly nestled in over on that A site. That last stick of progress will come to fruition. 2 minutes and 6 seconds left here in the round. Plenty of lives remaining for a couple of pushes towards that B site.
That actually was done really well. It was like you mentioned bait and switch, right? It's like they did a full push towards B, and they were able to deter them enough so when the respawns came in, they were able to sneak over to A right now, and 23 lives remaining across the board, almost 2 minutes of time. So you're right, a couple pushes over there, but you have to be coordinated about it. So Crimson Gaming, that's one thing that we have been working with them and saying, push as a team. That's what we want to see. And right now, they're all spread out across the map, but they are netting some 1v1s.
First bit of progress making their way on that B site. Criteria, Trippy will go big for 2 kills. You're still going to be close over towards the site, especially with those spawns all the way in the back. The reason, I guess it doesn't get brought up enough, why the B site is so hard to be able to take here, is not only because how many nooks and crannies the defensive side can sit in, but how far across the map the offensive side actually spawns. It takes so long to be able to break back, and once you lose 1 life in a 4 versus 3, the defensive side can, once again, send even more bodies back over towards that point before you can even get 1 or 2 reinforcements to cross that map.
That's a very good point that you just made right there. They are literally hauling all the way across the map from where over like Hill 3 would be if you're looking at hard points. And right now they're taking a really long-winded approach, but they are together, so I want to commend Crimson for that, and I'm just waiting for the push. But right now they're getting pinched from the CU Boulder team, and they're just losing their lives. 13 lives remaining, 48 seconds. I'm looking for a good maybe 1 to 1.5 push up left. Group up, get together, and get on B.
You're the Buffaloes. You just got to play the life in the back of your spawn. They do that for at least 2 kills. Justin hadn't been spotted out, but Peak with the Automaton will be able to win a huge one-on-one. J-Mac has been sitting in this position for quite some time. Finally, he's going to be able to find the first. Free aim to the staircase. 2 in a row here for J-Mac. It's going to be good enough for the rest of the team to start pushing up the map. However, you got to really start to be able to make that pinch play happen. Maddie, Quinny, you pair for another 2. So 12 to 8 coming off the respawn. You got to be able to break on back over towards this point. Trippy, you'll finally get 1 kill. Maybe too much of an aggressive push there out from J-Mac, but as the nades will come in, Trippy will find the second. You look all the way back over towards the spawn side of Colorado Boulder. They're making that push out. 1.5 ticks of progress over towards the B side. Only 15 seconds left. You still got a foot race back over towards the point as player number 5, and Quinny is still pushed up. 10 seconds left. The last player is Maddie. This is looking like we're going to go to a round number 5 here, Tiff.
Round number 5 indeed, but hey, kills coming in, but can you get there in time? I just don't think it's going to happen. The time will just run out right there, netting CU Boulder the win on that defensive round. That was absolutely well done. But here's the deal. Game number 5. This is it. But it's good to see that people can win defensive rounds, but we know that people can do it. You need to win that offensive round, and I feel like that's where everything turns around. But who's going to be the moment here? Can you turn it around? This team is going to have to win the attacking right now. If you're CU Boulder, step it up, net yourself that attacking win, because if not, by default, I think Crimson Gaming might go ahead and pull away here.
We've already almost done it twice. 1 round of control decides who will take a 2-1 lead in the series overall. It's done. Across the map, Nate gonna follow suit. 3 in a row here from Trippy, looking to build upon that, maybe find some streaks early on here. 4th in a row. Quinny will fly around the corner, give him number 5. The headshots, he doesn't miss, especially when Colorado Boulder needs somebody to step up in a big way. Stay woke, Andrew, Criteria, both pushed up the map. What a beautiful break off here from the side of Colorado Boulder on the offensive side. 6 quick kills, now make it number 7. Everybody streaking on the side of Colorado Boulder as they're trying to win this crucial round number 5.
Wow, we were talking about attacking coming in strong. We know it's easy to cap A as they just secured with 30 lives remaining. A near perfect execution for A as Quinny will go ahead and cut down Criteria. I loved what you're right. You mentioned 2 players pushing up towards the Crimson Gaming spawn and just winning all of those gunfights. It was absolutely well done. Now we're looking for those rotational fights as CU Boulder looks to make their way down to the B zone. Can they get there? They're split up. Some are up by Church, some are down by Command Center, but they are just getting picked off mid-map. Gotta have to wait for those rotations. A little bit of cat and mouse, and Criteria goes huge.
Oh, add that one to the highlight reel. We'll be seeing that one later on Twitter, I'm sure of it. Staying alive in the back, that would have just added another little sweet cherry on top of the rest of it. But as Stay Woke Andrew, once again, will find 2 in a row. You look to the rest of the team, Crimson Gaming now, slowly but surely, working their way back across the map on the defensive side. They've reclaimed at least a little bit of control overall. Bottom of the church, they don't realize the first player has made their way on in. Criteria will be the first one there. Justin gets caught reloading the weapon. We'll escape all the way back into the spawn side as everybody now from Colorado Boulder making their way up. They sent one little mercenary in. Everybody else followed on and funneled through the church doors. They were having a mass. Now it's time for the Exodus to come through here for Quinny, who has 2.
Exodus coming through, but CU Boulder able to get into the church, but unable to make it out alive as Crimson Gaming on the defensive, holding the fort down really nicely. A little contention there in the mid-map as the reinforcements come through, and it begins. Maddie finds Peak. Gets cut down. It's happening. Look at that. 2 left trying to make it over. There's 16 and 11 lives left. 50 seconds remaining. You need a really good coordinated push here. I believe it's coming right now.
This is where we start talking about the team deathmatch situation. Would have been huge there. Maddie would have been able to find that second kill. All I know is that it's still a 5 live disparity. Crimson Gaming, they can play slow here. They've got the time on their side. 2 players on the site now. Huge nade up and towards the top. 2 players are going to get knocked off the board. Maddie looks back over towards the church. You want to make sure, if you're the side of Colorado Boulder, Andrew can start making their way up the map so the reinforcements can get there in time. You got to start touching the hill now, though, because you want to be able to go ahead, degrade that clock as much as humanly possible. 10-5. No respawns remaining now here for the side of Crimson Gaming. You're over towards the point. Justin tries to go big, but stay woke. Andrew, once again, has found himself being a huge instrument on the map. 10-2. First tick of progress, trying to be there. Quinny, Maddie, trying to go big. J-Mac, unfortunate streak right there. Tried to save the game. Might have just killed every effort that they had left in the pocket. Streak comes in at the worst time possible. 5.5 seconds left. Quinny doesn't realize that there's going to be players now pushing in from behind. You slide, dip, dodge, dive back around the corner. Won't be able to happen. And an offensive round in the final round of the control is going to leave Colorado Boulder with a 3-2 win. And of course, the 2-1 series lead over their rivals inside of West Division A.
Hey, we were talking about it. If you were going to take this Tuscan control, you needed to win it on the attacking, and CU Boulder was able to step it up right there with an absolute flawless moment. We saw a lot of critical moments there and a lot of massive mistakes made by Crimson Gaming, especially, you're right, that strafing run. When you team kill on yourself right there in your last ditch effort, I feel like you're right. It really solidified the fact that CU Boulder was able to get in there. And I want to commend Stay Woke Andrew right there, that 35-33. I'm not even going to say, you know, he's positive, right? But the kills that he got mattered. He was able to stay on that B zone, like freezing the clock just enough for the rest of his teammates to kind of come in, and they just outlasted Crimson Gaming. That was very well done.
See the statistics here, 37 and 35 from Quinny. The rest of the team, couple of good players, couple of good games overall. I mean, when you go to round number 5, nobody's really going to be that far below anybody else. I mean, the lowest player in the lobby, 24 and 33 for Maddie. Again, not a great game, not a horrible game at the same time, just kind of floating around right in the mediocre pack of things. And Colorado Boulder, once again, another crazy respawn game that goes to them. If you're just joining us here instead of the series, allow me to recap you on what we've seen so far. It was map number 1, where it was a 250-245 win for Colorado Boulder. Again, there was 2 different times where Crimson Gaming, the Utes, had a 100-point lead over the side of the Buffaloes. All of a sudden, it was erased. Funnel hill of the game, back to our third set of rotations. P1, Colorado Boulder got it done. Map number 2, though, Tiff, Crimson Gaming. We saw a different side of them. They were able to go ahead, clutch themselves up, put their foot down, and of course be able to take that second map. Map number 3, obviously we just saw the conclusion of it. Fun series. Thoughts so far?
Thoughts so far is this has definitely been really exciting, right? It's been a lot of back and forth, and I kind of don't know what I'm gonna get. This is like that Forrest Gump thing. Life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Well, that's exactly how I'm gonna take this CU Boulder Crimson Gaming. You just don't know what's gonna happen. We started off Tuscan control with a wild B push, which I did not expect, and then they were unable to cap A after capping B so fast. So, I mean, just I don't know what to expect. We're going back to hardpoint right now. It's going to be Berlin. We've already seen Berlin on the Search and Destroy, and we saw how great Crimson Gaming was on that map. Sure, it was Search and Destroy, but we know Quinny knows that map like the back of their hand. So I'm looking towards you, Quinny. I want to see you frag out here in this hardpoint. Don't go up 100 points and then kind of lose it a little bit, please. Like, my soul can't handle that. At this point, I am rooting for Crimson Gaming, but I'm completely unbiased because, you know, CU Boulder right now in the lead, but if you really want to take that big reverse sweep, start now. Let's go.
I mean, we always have keys to victory at the beginning of series here inside of the CCL. Is the key to victory here for Crimson Gaming just not to go up by 100 points and just keep it relatively closely contested the entire time? Because you feel like if Crimson Gaming have a lead, it always seems like something in the back of their minds just kind of slows down. They're like, all right, we don't need to be as aggressive as we were being beforehand, guys. Just go ahead and rotate. Just find yourselves over to that next hill. We'll go ahead and we'll get the time on the next hill, and not really thinking that Colorado Boulder is going to have much of a fight, because they didn't for the majority of the hard point. They just didn't. There was no fight from Colorado Boulder until like the second time that they were down by 100 points. They're like, all right, screw it. Let's just try to go ahead and win this game. And that's exactly what they did. I will be the first to admit that I was a doubter of Colorado Boulder coming back in map number 1. They threw my head for a loop. I'm sure it threw Crimson Gaming off. They came back in a search and destroy, and then the rest of the series has just been a toss-up up in the air. Literally at the top of the show, Tiff, I said that this series was going to be a toss-up. That's exactly what we've seen so far. However, Colorado Boulder in the firm driver's seat, at least technically, when it comes to winning our respawns. We go again to Berlin for map number 4. The Utes did a good job in map number 1 of keeping the slaying from Colorado Boulder at bay. They just didn't do it until the very last second, and it cost them.
Cost them, and indeed. And if we're looking towards being strong in the respawns, that is Colorado Boulder right now, because clearly they've already net 2 here in the series. They can put it to bed here if they really want to win it on respawns, because you cannot net a series victory on 2 search and destroy wins if you're Crimson Gaming. This is where you have to assert your dominance, because you have to play near perfect here and near perfect there in map 5 to go ahead and take this W. But here it goes. A little bit of early action from CU Boulder as they jump onto the point.
Well, if you're wondering, and you're looking at the trends from last game, Colorado Boulder have already eclipsed more points here in point number 1 than they had to the first 3 hills inside of game 1 inside of this series. So if that is, well, anything to be proud of, well, that's, I guess that's a slight W as you work forward. J-Mac, though, going to try and turn around the corner. Criteria will find 2 in a row, get traded out immediately. That leaves a 3-2 trade overall. Colorado Boulder should find themselves in towards point 1, and they will. Trippy just didn't realize that Quinny and the boys from Crimson Gaming were still spawning in the back. 11 seconds left. We'll look to the rotations over to P2.
Rotations coming in right now. Crimson Gaming in from the top. You got 3 players going from CU Boulder as well, looking for a little bit of information. No one just yet looking to hop in. Near perfectly even, 21-25 as Crimson gets in on that early.
Gonna slide on in around the corner. J-Max gonna be left there. Player number 1 in Quinny. Solo challenge from Crimson Gaming. He's gonna at least be able to find the first one. Aggressive in towards around the hill. Finds the second one as well. Why not? But stay woke, Andrew. Anything you can do, I can do better. Finds Quinny and the teammate back to back. Crimson Gaming, though, will go ahead, put the foot down, hold resilient in towards the library. They'll pick up some knowledge along the way, especially of where the spawns are gonna be here as we get in towards late moments of P2.
Late moments in P2, indeed, in Crimson Gaming holding strong as well as they can, but you got Stay Woke Andrew looking to make one final push in to maybe contest for a little bit of scrap time here as they're staying relatively consistent. This is a much different story than we saw in the first hard point. So look at this, players looking for the early rotation. That's going to be CU Boulder right now with Crimson Gaming soaking up a little bit of 7 seconds of scrap time. Love this contention that's coming in as some members of Crimson Gaming rolling over right now for the fight.
First gunfight in towards the right door. Criteria, no surprise. 2 in a row. You get number 3 down as well. Right side peek. Well, he'll find the nade there as well. So, we'll reset here. Another break in from the front from the side of Crimson Gaming. One player is going to be sliding in towards the double doors of fire. Justin will find the first kill there. At least you're going to be able to find the first out of many that you're going to need in order to break on in, but you still haven't found the most crucial part of the break just yet. It's going to be Stay Woke Andrew, who will finally fall 8-6 thus far, leading the way for Colorado Boulder. More importantly, though, they worked their way into the spawns behind the hands of Justin, who was able to get into fire and is now on 4 in a row.
Yeah, both teams are just spawning so close here to P3, and it's making it a little bit of a gnarly contention. But while they're fighting it out for the 15 seconds of scrap time left, the player leaves and goes back, and now we have some mid-map battles right now as we're looking over to P4 and Train Yard. CU Boulder on it early, ready for the rotation to come through. They're going to go ahead and clean out Crimson Gaming, going to give them a nice start of this uncontested hill, while Crimson Gaming needs to group up and push as a team.
Look at Quinny. Look at Quinny on the flank. Nobody knows that they're back here. Not a single person at all. He's going to be able to find the first. Stay Woke Andrew will fall. Trippy up and towards the top. Guess who? Quinny for the second. One more player back in towards the point. You try to snap around the back, but J-Mac is going to be there. So a little bit of a later break. Took about 15, almost 20 seconds to be able to find their way finally into P4. But by the hands of Quinny to be able to go for 2 in a row, and then the teammates to be able to have the reinforcements later on inside of that same push. That just is what Crimson Gaming did so well in map number 1. Problem is, we didn't see that towards the later portions. It was a very discombobulated one after the other type of setup. Colorado Boulder, though, it's not like they're out of this game just yet, especially after what we saw in map number 1. But at the same time, Crimson Gaming has shown me, at least, that they've been able to break very, very well consistently here in map number 4.
You say break consistently, but Quinny just netted them that a massive success there on P4, where I see you Boulder was able to get a little bit of the scrap time. It didn't matter because Quinny had spawns, and then they flipped the spawns out. So now they're coming into this P5, this chaotic hill, and getting on it early. Will the contention come in? Can see you Boulder do something about it? Let's see. I'm not too sure.
20 up the staircase. Maddie sitting on point number 5. Andrew tries to get at least a little bit of contention up on towards the hill. Won't be able to do just that. About 50 points separate both of these two teams here early on. Our last hill on our first set of rotations. Trippy looks to the middle of the map. J-Mac is going to be there. Realistically speaking here, you're just playing for the last 20 seconds of scrap time. And as you're flying around the map, you'll see those white arrows on your mini-map now all rotating back over towards P1. The Utes, well, they decided just to basically say, screw P5. We'll take all the time we can on P1.
Honestly, I don't blame them for this choice, because let's just talk about the first set of rotations that we saw. It was really near consistent. And even though, you know, they were looking for that scrap time, they were able to keep them off it, netting them maybe like 5 seconds as the rotation starts in. Crimson Gaming is there on P1 as the break is coming in here in the office.
Yellow arrows making their way up. Maddie, first one there. Shots in the back, going to be good, at least for a little bit of an entry break. Stay woke Andrew will find Justin 2. Everybody from the side of Crimson Gaming will be back on the respawn side of things. So top left of the mini-map is where they're going to be coming from. You see everybody on Colorado Boulder. Looking over to where the Utes now find their ways up. Looking for 1, maybe 2 kills to find themselves a quick bit of entry in towards P1. It is going to be Quinny once again who finds himself on a flank. Unfortunately, though, here for the Utes, it's Stay Woke Andrew who once again will read the routes correctly, and it should net them the rest of the scrap time. They're not even going to have to push this. It's a great setup here for P2. They've just got to stick it as long as Criteria isn't able to break on in, find a couple of big kills.
Yeah, at this point, just give CU Boulder that nice little bit of scrap time. Criteria finding 2 on the rotation, but Crimson's going to hold down P2. As you see, 2 players from CU Boulder coming in saying, nah, we want this. Stay woke. Andrew had a 5 streak before being cut down, and Crimson Gaming hopping in there. Can they last? They do. They do last, McCormiel. I just want to say, they do. This is a very close 20-point game right now, and the contention is coming in from CU Boulder. This is where it has to happen. Break it here, or don't.
Trippy. Justin, one-on-one gunfight out over towards the tank by P5. Trying to break back in for the last 25 seconds here. You really want to start playing for these rotations. You know, 25 seconds of time is really big here for Colorado Boulder to be able to find. Sure, if you're Crimson Gaming, yeah, you want to find yourselves on the rotations. But if you allow them to get the scrap time and 1 good break comes in, you lose spawns because they start sending a few players up and towards that north portion of the map. That's when things get extremely bad. But as you see the break starting to come on in, you got player number 5, Stay Woke Andrew, looking to be the one to make the play for the side of Colorado Boulder. Crimson Gaming, though, luckily enough, had Maddie there watching that top portion of the map. They're not going to be able to get spawns just yet. Here comes another break in towards the front of the hill, down in below fire. Criteria is going to be the first one here. Maddie around that left side corner. J-Mac over towards the right. Just trying to make sure nobody can break on in towards this point. 45 seconds left. That's going to be a clean yellow kill feed for Colorado Boulder. That's exactly what I was afraid of.
Yeah, this is really reminiscent of what we saw in that first hard point between Crimson Gaming and CU Boulder. You know, Crimson Gaming can get there early, but CU Boulder just breaks it as Crimson is trying to retake. There's 30 seconds left. You end up playing for scrap time because CU Boulder is cutting you down.
On the corner, Trippy's there. A few more kills going to go the way of Crimson Gaming, at least for now. The last player alive all the way in the back is going to be Peak. Went big in the S&D, had a crucial couple of moments inside of the control. Right now, you're just playing for 15 seconds of scrap time. Maddie will clean that up. Everybody's just going to decide to push on in. And now you're going to allow player number 1 and Quinny to break out over towards P4 initially. Not sure if he spots out Trippy. Pretty sure he does, though, because he's going all the way to the back to watch and make sure nobody makes the same play that Quinny did beforehand. Unfortunately, though, doesn't set up with a head glitch. Can't win the gunfight. 60 seconds left on the hill.
60 seconds left on the hill, and Trippy Sun being a menace to society right now. Can Maddie clutch this? Maddie needs to be the Quinny that they were, but unfortunately the kills are coming in. CU Boulder moving in right now to get a nice little bit of time on P4.
Trippy on 4 in a row. Rest of the teammates now making the move up the map for Colorado Boulder. You can see them trying to create a little bit of a pinch play on the Crimson Gaming roster, who's just setting up inside of the train station, at least for now. Peek in the back will find one on the J-Mac. You see a couple more players now sliding around the corner. Justin falls. The rest of the teammates going to follow in suit for Colorado Boulder, looking very similar to map number 1, where it's a late resurgence from Colorado.
Peek finding a nasty three-piece right there. Crimson Gaming is going to have to do something about this because CU Boulder is making an absolute comeback, and we saw them do it in Hardpoint for that map 1. We saw how close it was. They're giving up all the scrap time to CU Boulder. CU Boulder is able to break in and hold for a good bit of time. They're about to be tied up here. 1 second left. You need to fight for that rotation on the P5, but this is the chaotic hill. This is that one that's very touch and go, and Stay Woke Andrew looking to make some plays here.
Gonna be able to find the first and the second here if you're Colorado Boulder, and it's just so many good moves, a lot of great plays that are gonna net you not only time, but now the lead for Colorado Boulder. We're tied at 2:09 apiece here, going into the last 39 seconds of this hill. Neither team will be able to win off of .5, but you can get damn close if you are either of these two teams. The rotation over to P1 right now, at least as it stands, all the yellow arrows, they found their way back over towards that male side of things. They can stick that, they'll be set for the rest of the game.
Crimson looking to get a good bit, but can they live on this hill? They cannot, and Stay Woke Andrew is absolutely frying out, finds a nice three-piece, gets up on there, fighting for the scrap time right now, but also look who's already rotated at CU Boulder. If you're Crimson Gaming, you need to get up in there and make a coordinated push, but CU Boulder is just overwhelming you.
Big kill there by Justin. This is going to allow you to push not only through fire, but off the respawn. Colorado Boulder's gonna have to watch for another player as J-Mac's gonna be able to fly through the front. You get 2 quick kills in the office. 12 seconds left is all that the side of Colorado Boulder need. However, here comes the break. Pinstripe kill feed. Peek tries to go for the last one, but J-Mac will stay alive for now. Reinforcements here on the side of Crimson Gaming. Peek goes ahead. Little bit of a wall bang. Now back in. 9 seconds left. Colorado Boulder trying to hold from the front. Crimson Gaming, one last good push. Criteria is able to find from behind for one. Contestion in. 3 players left at the hill right now. Maddie, Justin go big, but Criteria once again is trying to come from behind. He's able to find the kill. Colorado Boulder, one more contestant in. Criteria, guess who it is? The man on a mission to be able to take the game in the series for Colorado Boulder. They'll go into stage 2 with a full head of steam, a great amount of confidence, and a 3-1 win over the side of Crimson Gaming's. GG's to the Utes. It was just the Buffaloes who got the best of you in this game.
Buffalo's out here doing absolute work. That was so well played, but I've got to give it to Crimson Gaming because although this hard point was not nearly as close as the one that we saw on Tuscan, I want to say that Crimson Gaming made some significant changes and it looked a lot different, right? Sure, they never went up by 100 and you also never lost a 100 point. It was incredibly close all the way throughout until the very end. But one thing that I want to say about Crimson Gaming is once they get onto a point, hold it, because CU Boulder is able to crack through their defenses. Let's take a look at these nice little stats. Stay Woke Andrew holding it down for the fort, 32 and 27. Just some immense, like near perfect multi-kills that were needed to have some amazing breaks.
I mean, realistically, it's another hard point where we basically mirror statistics back and forth from side to side. I mean, sure, you can point to a few more kills for CU Boulder overall. That's great. But Crimson Gaming, we're keeping up with slaying. It's just these leads that they accrue throughout a hard point. Whatever it is, somehow, some way, something clicks for either Colorado Boulder. Maybe you were right about that after map number 1. Or things just kind of fall apart. They don't play as collective as they were beforehand, and things just start to look grim towards the end of the game. And Colorado Boulder, they proved it in map number 1. They proved it again there in map number 4. When things are looking grim, be the Grim Reaper. Word to Andy Reid. When it's all said and done, it's a 3-1 series lead for Colorado Boulder. Again, it doesn't do really much in terms of overall standings, but again, now Colorado Boulder, they've been able to fix a few things potentially that they might have been working on, and can now go into stage 2 with a nice bit of confidence and a head full of steam.
Confidence indeed, and if you are CU Boulder, you are feeling it because you played those respawn modes so absolutely wild and reckless, and it paid off well in your favor. So GG's all around the players today. You guys all did absolutely fantastic. If you didn't net yourself a victory here, you now know what you need to work on. You can take it, improve on that, and get ready for stage 2.
Absolutely. Well, overall, CU Boulder, a nice 3-1 victory over the side of Crimson Gaming. We hit on that a couple of times, but more importantly, College Con's not done. Obviously, here on the Bravo stream, that's our last match of the night. However, tomorrow we'll have more as well. JCSU Esports, High Point Esports will kick things off at 7:30 Eastern tomorrow. Wisconsin Cotton Maverick Esports will be the second match here on Bravo, and then to kick things off and end week number 6, Utica Pioneers Rowan Esports. That'll be the final match. Either way, same thing though. It's not the end of College Con tonight either. On the Alpha stream, it's the side of LA Tech going up against Colonel Esports. It's a fun matchup. It's a 2-1, or rather a 2-0 lead for LA Tech right now. Both teams trying to stay relatively undefeated inside of the CCL right now. Either way, that's it for myself and Tiff. It's been a great time, Tiff. The first time we've ever got to work together here on a broadcast. It was a lot of fun. More importantly, these games were fantastic. Go show the Alpha stream some love, some support. I hold Shift and Rome DMV holding it down up there. Very capable hands of those two fine gentlemen as well. Tiff, it's been a great night. Good to say goodbye now. We'll see you guys tomorrow here at 7:30 Eastern for more CCL action.